So I shared with you guys in my last speech that this whole level 2 of engaging humor was going to come from stories from me in my first professional career after college. And I was in TV ad sales, and at the time, all account executives were able to create a commercial to try and encourage advertisers and businesses to call us for advertising. And they really tried to encourage us to make it real personal. And at the time I was still riding horses quite a bit, and my theme was going to be targeted on ranch sorting. By a show of hands, do any of you know what ranch sorting is? Okay. So we're getting ready, and we're talking about the production elements. My two best friends at the office were producers, and so we were trying to line out, okay, what take are you going to do? How is going to be the best way to do this? And all of a sudden they stopped me and they said, how does somebody get into things like this? Because we've never heard of this. And so I started sharing with them that there's a lot of different ways to get into it. A lot of kids start really young, and some of the first things they do is mutton busting. And I kept talking and just acted like it was nothing, right? Like everybody knows what mutton busting is. And I kept going, and they stopped me. And they said, I need you to explain that, because we have no idea what you're talking about. And there was another girl in the office, and I said, have you heard of it? And she's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I said, okay, well, let's have a little lesson time. And so I told them that mutton busting is one of the things that real little kids do, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. And it's like a rodeo event, and sometimes kids get dressed up like a bull rider would, and they get in a chute, and they have a harness and everything. And sometimes it's just they might have a helmet, and then they're just holding on. And so what happens is they open the chute, and the whole thing the kid's supposed to do is hold on as long as they can, and the kid who holds on the longest wins. Well, their giggle boxes turned over, the entire afternoon was lost, and we had to circle back to it. But before we left, they said, why would any parent allow their kid to do that? And so I smiled, and it got me to thinking, and truly, the theme for today is kind of what led me down the road that we're going to go down today. And that is that all parents ever try and do is get their kids to learn some of the most important things in life. My dad was very big on the cowboy lifestyle, and he didn't really understand any other way except that. And so for us, being tough and being capable were two very important things. And when I say capable, really, in rodeo, everything you do, you have a horse. So it's more teamwork and knowing your teammate. And then sometimes, like with ranch sorting, you have another person and their mount that you're working with as well. So that's what was important to him. And just like all traditions and all cultures, they pass different things down and ways they teach their young or their kids to do that. So because we didn't have many hands with ranch sorting, I want to just share what that is so you at least leave knowing what that is. So it's a timed event, and there's a herd of cattle, and they have numbers from 0 to 9 on their back. And the announcer will call out the number 7. And if they call out the number 7, then you as a team have to pin the cattle in order. You've got 2 sides of the pin. You've got to work the gate and pin them. So 7, 8, 9, 0, all the way to 6. And whatever team gets the most in the time frame wins. So that's what that is. But if you think about other cultures, like today, select sports are the thing. I have two of the 3 of my kids are in select sports. And the whole reason we have them in there is a more direct focus on their skills, on their talent, learning to be capable, just like my dad wanted me to be, and to create some mental toughness when you have to go through tryouts or when you have to work or earn a position. It's very similar. Maybe the most well-known around the world is martial arts and kung fu, and that was a really good snapshot of just how much culture has involved in what we do and how we as parents determine that, right? And so there's different types of martial arts, and that's all really based on region, which shows you that it's really cultural based on how we teach our kids. Now, for some of us, you know, the decision and how we learn those skills is our own lot in life, right? Like, some of us are going to be like me and have to hold on to a sheep as long as they can to figure out how tough you are. And some of us are going to learn the incredibly ancient art of kung fu and of fighting. And that's just one thing that, or a great recollection of a pattern in this world, and just how much things that aren't really common to some people all have the same purpose in something else that they do in